45.
Hey, what's number 3?
Hey everybody, I'm Ethan.
And I'm John, and today we're here to bring you a review of the new 2014 action movie, Lucy.
Right, so Lucy follows Scarlett Johansson, a kind of, a kind of shy girl who lives in Taiwan with her shady boyfriends.
Super shady.
Real shady guy. And through some events, she has to deliver a package. Now the package is a new drug in Taiwan that it's very experimental.
But she doesn't know that. She just has the box.
She has the box, and through another sort of circumstance, she has the bag of drugs inside her.
Because she has to deliver it, and it winds up being this, crime syndicate, and they put a bag of the drugs in her to be kind of a mule for when she flies somewhere else to bring it there.
Right. Through some more events, she is hurt and kicked, and the bag erupts. Now the chemical structure of the drugs integrates with her DNA, and now she can unlock certain parts of her brain that she could not do before.
Just really quickly, this movie is based on the myth that you can only use 10% of your brain, but that's not true. Just really quick, a lot of people think that 90% of your brain is just like meatloaf. That's what this movie's based on. It's not true. I tweeted an article that is not true. Look on our Twitter to see the article. I know you don't care, but Jonathan, don't edit this out, because I know we got an argument about it the other day.
Jonathan's gonna give you hell for that.
He's gonna edit it out, isn't he?
Speaking of our Twitter, what's our Twitter for the audience?
At Stubmasters.
There you go.
Alright, so, going into this movie, my expectations, well, there was one thing I was keeping in mind, and that was that Scarlett Johansson was pretty much the only real selling point this movie had. That was the only reason it had any hype surrounding it.
Yeah, people like her. I mean, she did all the cool badass stuff from the Avengers.
Yeah, that's definitely the character she plays in this movie. It was advertised, ooh, you can come see Scarlett Johansson being, like, sexy but badass again.
Yeah.
And she did a really good job in it.
She did a good job, yeah. I mean, she acted really well. She acted well as the shy character before, and after the drug change, or the accident, I would say she did a good job of the kind of emotionless person. Yeah.
I mean, she did a good job with her acting within the character, but I honestly think there are a lot of issues with the character itself. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things that's wrong with that was after she gets, because the movie starts off, she's like a really shy normal girl. When they kidnap her, she's like, no, please don't, no, I don't want to. And then she can now access like 20% of her brain, and she's immediately like a cold-blooded, just like she's a normal girl. Then the drug goes in her, right? And then immediately she walks out of the room and just pop, 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 kills 5 guys, and like doesn't even flinch. Maybe she now has the physical capacity to do that and can now be a good aim because she has more of a brain. But that doesn't mean she can't just kill people and not even care, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is the problem when there is such a sudden change in character. I mean, it would be fine if there was, like an arc of it elevates to that level, but I mean, it is a clear-cut change.
And it's just abrupt and choppy.
It's not great. But you know what is great?
What?
Visuals.
This movie looks great. This movie looks great.
This movie is beautiful. It's the cinematography and the special effects.
Man, if I may interject,
yeah.
We mean the movie looks great as in the cinematography and practical effects and, shots and stuff. So we don't mean Scarlett Johansson.
Beautiful girl.
Alright, so
I thought it was a very visually appealing movie. The cinematography kind of encompassed what is happening on the screen.
The cinematography.
As cinematography does. But the special effects were really nice of how she can read other languages. She can, translate it into English when it's in Taiwanese or whatever.
Yeah, this movie definitely makes a lot of right decisions with visuals. And one of the things that was visual that really stood out to me was, it was kind of surprising. A lot of the things in this movie aren't really normal Hollywood blockbuster action things that you would normally see. They're kind of more things you'd see in an art film almost.
Like an indie art film that you'd see at, Sunday's indie show.
Yeah. Like in the very, very beginning, for example, they keep cutting to like Discovery Channel, Animal Planet footage of animals like doing things as a parallel to the situation. Like when her boyfriend's convincing her to go deliver the package,
there's a mouse like very near a trap, like a mouse trap.
Like a mouse trap with cheese in it.
Right.
And I honestly didn't know how I felt about that. I mean, they never used it again after the very beginning, so that was kind of like, eh.
There was the consistency error of not continuing that throughout the entire movie.
But it was interesting. It was different.
I mean, I personally liked it. I mean, when the gang is about to take her to the big boss, it showed the parallel of a lion chasing a gazelle through, the plains of Africa, and I thought that was really, that was cool.
It was pretty cool, yeah. It was definitely new.
But it would have been a lot nicer if they had just continued that through the entire movie.
Yeah. Now, one of the, well, if I may go back to her character, the biggest problem in this entire movie is that really pretty early on, like I would say less than a third of the way through the movie, she becomes basically a god. Because she can now access, at that point, she can access like 40% of her brain, and she can just wave her hand and a room full of people die.
Right.
So at that point, there's no more tension anymore. There's no protagonist, antagonist, tug of war.
Right. There's no danger that the character can really come into where you feel scared that the character might come to harm or anything.
Because, when you see the crime syndicate like, oh, we gotta go kill Lucy, you're supposed to be like, but you're not, because you know that, like, she can dig bullets out of her skin without pain.
So nothing's really gonna affect her in any way.
It's like how a lot of people say that Superman is the worst superhero because he has no weaknesses.
Well, he has the kryptonite.
Exactly. That's why those people are wrong, because he has kryptonite. He has a weakness.
Right.
She has no weakness. If she had a kryptonite in this movie, it would have been much better.
Right. I mean, she basically just, over time, gets less weak, and she literally becomes stronger.
And you just don't relate to her. Now, one of the things that it's in this movie that's pretty unnecessary, that I think tried to make it more relatable and tried to make her more human, was this police officer character that she's with for the latter half. And he's really not necessary to be in there. He's just there to create dialogue.
Right.
So she talks to someone and there's words happening on the screen.
Right.
And to try to make it more relatable, because you don't relate to her at all. She's like a robot.
Right. And he isn't a bad character per se, nor is his acting bad. He's just an unnecessary character that doesn't need to be there.
And that's one of the big issues of this movie. I feel like a lot of the characters and things that should be characters act more as just vehicles to move the plot along. Like, for example, I know you disagree with this, but the Asian crime syndicate, they're really just... It could have been so cool, I thought, but they're really just there as an excuse for the drugs to get in her and for her to have more of a brain, and for her to attack and have cool scenes. That's pretty much it. They're not really like a villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not characters. They're just there for a fight, to try to create conflict and tension.
Well, I'm sorry that we can't give backstory to all these, gang thug number 5, John.
Well, this movie was polarizing. He liked it, I didn't. What? Now, one of the things, this is maybe something specific to me that I didn't like about it, was there were all these little moments that would try to impress you, like, oh wow, she really is super smart, that just don't. Like, at one point she's talking to a guy on the phone, it's the cop character, she's like, pick up the red pen to your left, and looks to his left and there's a red pen, and you're supposed to be like, sacre bleu, baguette, like how it's supposed to create amazement, like, oh, how'd you know he had a red pen?
She must be really, really smart.
She must use more of her brain. Oh wait, she does. They totally established that. Why do I care? And it's just, really, that's like all in the movie. Like, even at one point she's staying with her friend, and she can just, of course, look at someone and tell all their medical conditions. So as she's leaving, she hands her a prescription that she somehow printed with her mind.
Found on the internet.
And said, oh, I could tell that your liver wasn't working, you need to get this prescription, eat right and exercise, and you'll be okay.
Maybe do some yoga, you'll turn out fine.
And it's like, why was that in there?
It is, again, just to show off how, how smart she is.
But
or not say how smart she is, but how much of her brain has been unlocked. Right, so, John?
Well,
out of 5? What are you going to give it?
Out of 5, I mean, this movie did have a lot of things going for it. There were some really cool action sequences, filmed very well. Scarlett Johansson does a good job. A lot of cool, different artsy things happening. But the story was almost non-existent. Some of these characters were pretty stagnant. Scarlett Johansson's character had all types of things wrong with it. So, at the end of the day, I gotta give Lucy a 2.7 out of 5 stars.
I'm sorry to hear that, because on the opposite spectrum, I'm here giving Lucy a 4 out of 5. Now, I really liked the movie. I liked all the art it had to it, meaning I liked the themes with, you know, the animal parallels. I liked the idea of, you know, information and what does it all mean and the things that are explored later at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And, again, all the visuals were beautiful.
The good visuals, I think, and art aspects worked really well with the director, Luc Besson's style of, I mean, it really just all, the artsy part and the visually looking good part blended really well.
Yeah, he knew really when to cut to what. So, action was good. The character is problematic, there's that. Cop is unnecessary. But all in all, it's still a really fun, enjoyable time if you're looking for something that's not too mainstream.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
So, Lucy, should you see it? Depends who you ask. Alright, Stubmasters Reviews. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Stubmasters. We tweet very frequently about what's going on in our lives and movies in the movie industry.
Yep.
So make sure to find that. And you can also listen to our newer reviews on SoundCloud at, I think it's, it's either Stubmasters or The Stubmasters. We'll put a link, you know, in like podcast form if you're driving or whatever, you can listen.
To our sweet voices.
Yeah, if you just want to hear his Colombian voice as you go to sleep, you can do that now. We gave that to you.
Yeah, but remember, it is only audio.
Alright, so Stubmasters Reviews, I'm John.
And I'm Ethan.
Have a great day.